This is our video on uncertain objects. There are 4 objects other than the rabbit that I'm going to talk about in reference to different parts of uncertain things, uncertain objects that allow you to not do anything you want, but do unpredictable things that can't be predicted. The first example is just a buggy computer. It doesn't do anything. It's not doing what you want it to do, and it just kind of glitches out and does something weird. That's an example of an uncertain object. Another one, like the purple ball, sort of represents a living being which has an unpredictable behavior. You can't tell what it's going to do, and thus it acts on its own. Sort of like a free object. It's an example of an existent and real object that we can observe in nature that does something unpredictable. Living beings aren't exactly predictable in what they'll do because you don't know what they'll do. The lightning bolt yellow thing is an example more of an enemy in a video game, which is another example of a useful, unpredictable object because it doesn't do what you expect it to do all the time, unless it makes for a good enemy or thing that can harm the player in a normal game that would actually have that part of it. Different coded randoms are, for different things, procedural generation, which this map isn't that way, but different procedural information is always uncertain unless an uncertain object, so it can be useful for creating new terrains. And weather patterns are also quite useful for an example of uncertain objects that are interesting because they don't have a predicted outcome, but they produce some sort of result. These ones just spawn and disappear randomly. But everything about uncertain objects is uncertain because you don't know what the variables behind them are. But if you did know the variables behind them, the seed of the random inside each of these coded objects, you could actually predict how they behave. So uncertainty is more about not knowing than magic, and that can be useful for trying to figure out how they actually work. Although in this case it'd be very difficult because you'd have to find the exact seed for each object. But that's about it. The random behavior of each thing is what makes it an uncertain object, and they're not usable, they're just random. That's about it for this video.